Okay, I'm Graham Shimield, Executive Director of the Bigelow Laboratory for Ocean Sciences. It's a non-profit organization based in Booth Bay Harbor here in Maine. I'm going to present over the next 3 minutes the case for enhancing the culture collection for marine phytoplankton, bacteria and viruses, which is housed at the Bigelow Laboratory. I'm going to do that in 3 parts. I'm going to talk about the mission of the laboratory first, why culture collections are important, and then the specifics of the case that we're presenting. So Bigelow Laboratory has at its core of its mission to understand the ecosystems of the oceans of the whole planet. We essentially work in the open oceans of the world. It's probably a little known fact that every second breath you're breathing at the moment comes from the oxygen from marine phytoplankton. It is the largest single ecosystem in the world. However, our knowledge of those plankton, why they're important, their opportunity for industry, for biomedical work, and even for novel energy sources is pretty unknown. So the laboratory sustains its operations through research grants primarily to federal agencies and primarily the National Science Foundation. They are a major supporter, and indeed the National Science Foundation has been continuing to support the culture collection for the past 15 years. What I would like to do now is to explain why a culture collection is important. Culture collections are essentially bioresource centers. Most developed nations in the world have bioresource centers. They are repositories of diversity of organisms. They are repositories of the genetic and molecular information that those organisms contain. And to some extent, they're seen as a way of preserving intact organisms for any kind of research for the future. However, they're costly to maintain. It's a recurring expenditure. They do not operate under typical market forces, although often cultures are sold to researchers and to industry. Bigelow's been fortunate as being the designated institution to host the U.S. National Collection of Marine Phytoplankton by an act of Congress in 1985. So it is our responsibility to provide those organisms on behalf of the research community of the whole nation. The NSF has been sponsoring that and with supporting funds from NOAA. As time is going on, all nations, including the US, are looking to make culture collections more self-sustaining. That is, how can they recover the costs of operation, and in particular, how does industry interact with those collections? That actually fits very well with the third part of what I want to talk about, which is the development of Bigelow Laboratory. Supported by the Maine Technology Asset Fund, we are now creating the Bigelow Center for Blue Biotechnology, which is essentially going to be an interface between industry in Maine in many sectors, in energy, in pharmaceuticals and nutraceuticals, in aquaculture, and the basic research community. And we're going to do that in such a way as to provide access to facilities for those organizations and to trade intellectual property with them. We see the collection as a key part of that, and what we're asking for is that the collection is now enhanced to include marine bacteria and viruses in such a way as to support a range of sectoral interests in the state of Maine and beyond. Thank you.